Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We are reading chapter 3, the birth of Lord Krishna. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that his appearance, birth, and activities are all transcendental, and that one who understands them actually becomes immediately eligible to transfer to the spiritual world. The Lord's appearance or birth is not like that of an ordinary man who is forced to accept a material body according to his past deeds. The Lord's appearance is explained in a second chapter. He appears out of his own sweet pleasure. When the time was mature for the appearance of the Lord, the constellations became very auspicious. The astrological influence of the star known as Rohini was predominant. This star is considered to be very auspicious and is under the direct supervision of Brahma. According to the astrological conclusion, beside the proper situation of the stars, there are auspicious and inauspicious moments due to the different situation of the different planetary systems. So here we see that even the auspicious star and constellation, they become appear when Lord want to take his birth in this world. At the time of Lord Krishna's birth, the planetary system were automatically adjusted so that everything became auspicious. So this is the reality about Lord's birth, that how it is all divine. It is not subjected to any past karma or deeds, but it is out of his own sweet will Lord Krishna appears. And even everybody favors, even the constellations, stars, time, auspicious moments. At that time, in all the directions, east, west, south, north, everywhere, there was an atmosphere of peace and prosperity. There were auspicious stars visible in the sky, and on the surface of the earth, in all the towns and villages and the pasturing grounds, and within the minds of everyone, there were signs of good fortune. The rivers were flowing full of waters, and lakes were beautifully decorated with lotus flowers. The forests were full with beautiful birds and peacocks. All the birds within the forest began to sing with sweet voices, and the peacocks began to dance along with their concerts. So the very nice Vrindavan atmosphere is set. The wind blew very pleasantly, carrying the aroma of different flowers, and the sensation of bodily touch was very pleasing. At home, Brahmanas who were accustomed to offering sacrifices in the fire found their homes very pleasant for offerings. Due to disturbances created by the demoniac kings, the sacrificial fire had been almost stopped in the houses of Brahmanas. So as you see that when demon attack, they stop the auspicious activities and they torture the Brahmanas, cows. But now they could find the opportunity to start the fire peacefully. But when Lord appeared, all the things became very peaceful. Being forbidden to offer sacrifices, the Brahmanas had been very much distressed in the mind, intelligence and activities. But just on the point of Krishna's appearance, automatically their minds became full of joy because they could hear transcendental vibrations in the sky proclaiming the appearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is the benefit. When Lord appears, everything becomes auspicious. That's why we celebrate even Lord's festival of Janmashtami and everything. The denizens of the Gandharva and Kinnara's planet began to sing, and the denizens of Siddhaloka and planets of Charanas began to offer prayers in service of Personality of Godhead. In the heavenly planet, the angels and their wives, along with the Vidyadharas and their wives, began to dance. So when Lord appears, everybody started dancing. The great sages and the demigods, being pleased, began to shower flowers. At the seashore, there was the sound of mild waves, and above the sea, there were clouds in the sky, which began to thunder very pleasantly. When things were adjusted like this, Lord Vishnu, who is residing within the heart of every living entity, appeared in the darkness of night as the Supreme Personality of Godhead before Devaki, who appeared as one of the demigoddess. So, was about to appear in the womb of Devaki. So she also became very effulgent and very appeared like a demigoddess. The appearance of Lord Vishnu at that time could be compared to the rising of the full moon over the eastern horizon. The objection may be raised that since Lord Krishna appeared on the 8th day of waning moon, there could be no rising of the full moon. In answer to that, it may be said that Lord Krishna appeared in the dynasty which is hierarchy of the moon. Lord Krishna appeared in the Chandravamsha. Therefore, although the moon was incomplete on the night, Lord Krishna appeared on the Ashtami, but that day moon has become very happy and it has become full moon. Because of the Lord's appearance in the dynasty wherein the moon is himself original person, the moon was in an overjoyous condition. So by the grace of Krishna, he could appear just like a full moon. In an astronomical treatise by the name Kamaniya Kya, the constellations at the time of appearance of Lord Krishna are very nicely described. It is confirmed that the child born at that auspicious moment was the Supreme Brahman or the Absolute Truth. Vasudeva saw that wonderful child born as a baby with 4 hands, holding conch shell, club disc and lotus flower, decorated with the mark of Srivatsa, wearing the jeweled necklace of Kaustuba stone, dressed in a yellow silk, appearing dazzling like the bright blackish cloud, wearing a helmet bedecked with the Vedurya stone, valuable bracelets, earrings and similar other ornaments all over his body. So when Lord appears, he appears like this wonderful child, with all these decorations, ornaments, and beautified by the abundance of on his head, and there were hairs on his head. Due to the extraordinary features of the child, Vasudeva was struck with wonder. How could a newly born child be so decorated? He could therefore understand that Lord Krishna had now appeared, and he became overpowered by the occasion. Vasudeva very humbly wondered that although he was an ordinary living entity, conditioned by the material nature, and was externally imprisoned by the Kamsa, all-pervading personality of Godhead Vishnu or Krishna had appeared as a child in his home, exactly in his original position. No earthly child is born with 4 hands, decorated with ornaments and nice clothing, fully equipped with all the signs of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Over and over again, Vasudeva glanced at his child and he considered how to celebrate this auspicious moment. So when Lord Krishna appeared, Vasudeva was very happy and he was considering how to celebrate this moment. Generally, when a male child is born, he thought people observe the occasion with the jubilant celebration. And in my home, although I am imprisoned, the Supreme Personality of Godhead has taken birth. How many millions and millions of times should I be prepared to observe this auspicious ceremony? So this is how, even though we may be in materially difficult situation, but when we make Lords appear, we should be very happy. When Vasudeva, who is also Anakadundubi, was looking at his newborn baby, he was so happy that he wanted to give many thousands of cows in charity to the Brahmanas. According to the Vedic system, when there is auspicious ceremony in the Kshatriya's king palace, out of joy the king gives many things in the charity. Cows decorated with the golden ornaments are delivered to the Brahmanas and sages. Vasudeva ceremony to celebrate Krishna's appearance, but because he was shackled within the walls of Kamsa's prison, this was not possible. Instead, within his mind, he gave thousands of cows to the Brahmanas. So he was a very joyous condition and he gave thousands of cows to Brahmana. When Vasudeva was convinced that the newborn child was the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, he bowed down with the folded hands and began to offer him prayers. At that time, Vasudeva was in the transcendental position and he became completely free from all fear of Kamsa. The newborn baby was also flashing his effulgence within the room in which he appeared. Vasudeva then began to offer his prayers. My dear Lord, I can understand who you are. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the super soul of all living entities, and the absolute truth. You have appeared in your own eternal form, which is directly perceived by us. I understand that because I am afraid of Kamsa, you have just to deliver me from that fear. You do not belong to this material world. You are the same person who brings about the cosmic manifestation simply by glancing over the material nature. One may argue that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who creates the whole cosmic manifestation simply by his glance, cannot come within the womb of Devaki or the wife of Vasudeva. To eradicate this argument, Vasudeva said, my dear Lord, it is not a very wonderful thing that you have appeared within the womb of Devaki, because the is also made in that way. You are lying in the casual ocean as Mahavishnu, and by your breathing process, innumerable universes came into existence. Then you entered into each of the universe as Garbhodakshai Vishnu. Then again you expanded yourself as Shirodakshai Vishnu and entered into hearts of all living entities, and even into the atoms. Therefore, your entrance into the womb of Devaki is understandable in the same way. You appear to have entered, but you are simultaneously all pervading. We can understand your entrance and non-entrance from material examples. The total material energy remains intact even after being divided into 16 elements. The material body is nothing but the combination of 5 gross elements, namely earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Whenever there is a material body, it appears that such elements are newly created. But actually, the elements are always existing outside of the body. Our body is composed of the material elements. Similarly, although you appeared as a child in the form of Devaki, you are also existing outside. You are always in your abode, but still you can simultaneously expand yourself into millions of forms. One who has to understand your appearance with great intelligence because the material energy is also emanating from you. You are the original source of the material energy, just as the sun is the source of sunshine. The sunshine cannot cover the sun globe, nor can material energy, being an emanation from you, cover you. You appear to be in the 3 modes of material energy, but actually the 3 modes of material energy cannot cover you. This is understood by the highly intellectual philosopher. In other words, although you appear to be within the material energy, you are never covered by it. So this is how we have to understand how Lord appears within the womb of Devaki, but he cannot be covered by this material energy. He is like just appearing. So he is appearing. So it is not just material birth like our birth. We hear from the Vedic version that the Supreme Brahman exhibits his effulgence and therefore everything becomes illuminated. We can understand from the Brahma Samhita that Brahma Jyoti or Brahman effulgence emanates from the body of the Supreme Lord, and from the Brahman effulgence all creation takes place. It is also stated in Bhagavad Gita that Lord is the support of the Brahman effulgence. Therefore, originally he is the root cause of everything. But persons who are less intelligent think that when the Supreme Personality of Godhead comes within this material world, he accepts material qualities. Such conclusions are not very mature, but are made by the less intelligent. So we have to understand that our Lord is not accepting a material body, but he has always a spiritual body, and he just appears in the womb. So that is the idea we have to understand how Lord takes his birth. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is directly and indirectly existing everywhere. He is outside this material creation and is also within it. He is within this material creation not only as Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, he is also within the atom. The existence of atom is his presence. Nothing can be separated from his existence. In the Vedic injunction, we find that Supreme Soul or the root cause of everything has to be searched out because nothing exists independently of the Supreme Soul. Therefore, the material manifestation is also transformation of his potency. Both inert matter and living force, the soul, are emanations from him. So everything is from the Lord. Only the foolish conclude that when the Supreme Lord appears, he accepts the conditions of matter. But understand that Lord, even though he expands in everything, he resides everything, but that is his potency by which he can do that. He can multiply himself in the millions of forms. Even if he appears to have accepted a material body, he is still not subjected to any material condition. Krishna has therefore appeared and defeated all imperfect conclusions of appearance and disappearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So if anybody have doubt how Lord appears, what he does, so we should know what is his position, his transcendental position. So he doesn't become conditioned by any material looking like activities, like he's taking body, but he's not taking the material body. He is appearing in his own spiritual body. My Lord, your appearance, existence, and disappearance are beyond the influence of the material qualities. Because your Lordship is the Supreme Brahman and the controller of everything, there is nothing inconceivable or contradictory in you. As you have said, material nature works under your superintendence, just like a government officer working under the orders of the chief executive. The influence of subordinate activities cannot affect you. Since you are the Supreme Brahman, everything is existing within you. And since all the activities of material nature are controlled by your Lordship, none of these activities affect you. So we have to understand how Lord is not bound by any material activity, rather working under him. You are called Shuklam. Shuklam or whiteness is the symbolic representation of the absolute truth because it is unaffected by the material qualities. Lord Brahma is called Rakta or red because Brahma represents the passion quality for creation. Darkness is interest to Lord Shiva because he annihilates the cosmos. So these 3 guna, Sato, Raja and Tama, so they are represented by Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh. So represents Shuklam, whiteness, which is Shuddhatva, And the Lord Brahma is Rakta, red. It is a representation of passion for creation. And the darkness is handed over to Lord Shiva because he annihilates. The creation, annihilation, and maintenance of this cosmic manifestation are controlled by your potencies. Yet you are the always unaffected by those qualities. As confirmed in the Vedas, Harir hi Nirguna Sakshat. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is always free from the all material qualities. It is also said that qualities of passion and ignorance are non-existence in the person of Supreme Lord. So you should know that Supreme is never affected by this material nature, even though he creates. Like a spider, it creates its own web, but a spider doesn't get entangled in it. The Lord never get entangled or affected by this creation. My Lord, you are the supreme controller, personality of Godhead, the supreme great, maintaining the order of this cosmic manifestation. Yet in spite of your being the supreme controller, you have so kindly appeared in my home. The purpose of your appearance is to kill the followers of the demonic ruler of the world, who are in the dress of royal princes, but are actually demons. I am sure that you will kill all of them and their followers and the soldiers. The Lord's purpose in Bhagavad Gita also is told, appears to kill the demons and also to establish the Dharma. I understand that you have appeared in order to kill the uncivilized Kamsa and his followers, but knowing that you are to appear in order to kill him and his followers, he has already killed so many of your predecessors, your elder brothers. Now he is simply awaiting the news of your birth. Vasudeva is telling to Lord Krishna that he is awaiting your birth. As soon as he hears about it, he will immediately appear with all kinds of weapons to kill you. So now Vasudeva starts some affection for the baby Krishna. After this prayer of Vasudeva, Devaki, the mother of Krishna, offered her prayers. She was very frightened because of her brother's atrocities. Devaki said, my dear Lord, your eternal forms like Narayana, Lord Ram, Hayashirsha, Varaha, Narsimha, Vamana, Baldev, and millions of similar incarnations emanating from Vishnu are described in the Vedic literature as original. You are the original because all your forms are as incarnations are outside of this material creation. Your form was existing before this cosmic manifestation was created. Your form are eternal and all-pervading. They are also self-effulgent, changeless, and uncontaminated by the material qualities. Such eternal forms are ever cognizant and full of bliss. They are situated in the transcendental goodness and are always engaged in the different pastimes. The Lord's form are all spiritual and they are engaged in pastimes. You are not limited to particular form only. All such transcendental eternal forms are self-sufficient. I can understand that you are Supreme Lord Vishnu. After many millions of years, when Lord Brahma comes to the end of his life, the annihilation of cosmic manifestation takes place. At that time, the five elements, namely earth, water, air, and ether, enter into the Mahat Tattva. So when the annihilation or pralaya happens, all the five elements, they enter into the Mahat Tattva. So this earth, like the world will become abundant by the water. Everywhere water gets, then the fire and air start blowing. So all these things happen and pralaya comes. Then everything enter into Mahat Tattva. Mahat Tattva is sum total of all these five elements. The Mahat Tattva then enters by the grace force of the time into the non-manifested total material energy. And the total material energy enters into the energetic Pradhan. And the Pradhan enters into you. So finally everything enters into the Lord. Therefore, after the annihilation of the whole cosmic manifestation, you alone remain with your own accidental name, form, qualities, and paraphernalia. My Lord, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you because you are the director of the unmanifested total energy and the ultimate reservoir of the material nature. My Lord, the whole cosmic manifestation is under the influence of time, beginning from the moment up to the duration of the year. All act under your direction. You are the original director of the everything and reservoir of all potent energies. All the conditioned souls are continually fleeing from one body to another and one planet to another, yet they do not get free from onslaught of birth and death. But when one of these fearful living entities comes under the shelter of your lotus feet, he can lie down without anxiety of being attacked by formidable death. So when somebody becomes devotee of Lord Krishna, he immediately becomes fearless. Because the death is nothing but representation of Lord in the form of Kal, time factor. So time factor is nothing but the representation of Lord only. So when somebody becomes devotee of the Lord, he gets out of this fear of death. This statement by Devaki is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita by Lord himself. There the Lord says, after traveling all over the universe, from Brahmalok to Patal one cannot escape the attack of birth, death, disease, and old age. But one who enters the kingdom of God, the Lord says, is never again obliged to come to the material world. Therefore, my Lord, I request you to save me from the cruel hands of Kamsa, the son of Ugrasen. I am praying to your Lordship to please rescue me from this fearful condition, because you are always ready to give protection to your servitors. The Lord has confirmed this statement in the Gita by assuring Arjuna, you may declare the world, my devotee shall never be vanquished. So when somebody becomes the devotee of the Lord Krishna, he will never vanquish. While thus praying to the Lord for rescue, Mother Devaki nonetheless expressed her motherly affection. I understand that this transcendental form is generally perceived in the meditation by great sages, but I am still afraid, because as soon as Kamsa understands that you have appeared, he might harm you. So I request that for time being you become invisible to our material eyes. So this is the devotees, even though they know that Lord has appeared, but still they are having affection for him as a child. In other words, she requested the Lord to assume the form of an ordinary child. My only cause of fear of my brother Kamsa is due to your appearance, because she was thinking if Kamsa come to know that Vishnu has appeared, he will try to harm Vishnu. So she has this affection. Then she told you, transform yourself into the child. I wish that Kamsa may not learn that you are already born. Therefore, I request you to conceal this form to your Lordship, which are the four symbols of Vishnu, namely the conch shell, the disc, the club, and the lotus flower. My dear Lord, at the end of this annihilation of cosmic manifestation, you put the whole universe within your abdomen. Still, by your unalloyed mercy, you have appeared in my womb. I am surprised that you imitate the activities of ordinary human being just to please your devotee. So why Lord becomes like ordinary human being? Because he wants to have some pastime with his devotees. So this is the reason we should know. Otherwise, Lord's form is always transcendental. He is not subjected to any material body. On hearing the prayers of Devaki, the Lord, my dear mother, in the millennium of Swayambhav Manu, my father Vasudeva was living as one of the Prajapatis. His name at that time was Sutapa, and you were his wife named Prishni. At the time when Lord Brahma was desiring to increase the population, he requested you to generate offspring. You control your senses and perform severe austerities by practicing the breathing exercise of the yoga system. Both you and your husband could tolerate all the influence of material laws, the rainy season, the onslaught of wind, and the scorching heat of the sunshine. You also executed all religious principles. In this way, you were able to cleanse your heart and control the influence of material laws. In executing your austerity, you used to eat only leaves of the trees which fell to the ground. Then, with a steady mind and controlled sex drive, you worshipped me, desiring some wonderful benediction from me. Both of you practiced severe austerities for 12,000 years by the calculation of the demigods. During that time, your mind was always absorbed in me. When you were executing devotional service and always thinking of me within your heart, I was very much pleased with you. O sinless mother, your heart is therefore always pure. At that time, I also appeared before you in this form just to fulfill your desire. Where, whatever you desired, at that time you wished to have me born as your son. Although you saw me personally, instead of asking for your complete liberation from material bondage, under the influence of my energy, you asked me to become your son. So Devaki asked Lord to become his son. In other words, to appear in the material world, the Lord selected his mother and father, namely Prishni and Sutapa. When the Lord comes as human being, he must have a mother and father. So he selected Prishni and Sutapa to be his mother and father perpetually. Like we cannot select our mother, father, but Lord can select. So he selected and he appeared in their womb. And on the account of this, neither Prishni nor Sutapa could ask the Lord for liberation. It is not so important as the transcendental loving service of the Lord. The Lord could have awarded Prishni and Sutapa immediate liberation, but he preferred to keep them within this material world for his different appearances. As will be explained in the following verse. So sometimes we also become bewildered while Lord is not giving us immediate access to the abode of his. So then we should know that Lord want to have some service from us. On receiving the benediction from the Lord to become his father and mother, Sutapa and Prishni retired from the activities of austerity and lived as husband and wife in order to beget a child who was the Supreme Lord himself. In due course of time, Prishni became pregnant and gave birth to the child. The Lord spoke to Devaki and Vasudeva. At that time, my name was Prishni Garbha. In the next millennium, you took birth as Aditi and Kashyapa, and I became your child of the name Upendra or Trivikrama. At that time, my form was just like a dwarf, and for this reason, I was known as Vaman Dev. I gave you the benediction that I would take birth as your son times. The first time I was known as Prishnigarbha, born of Prishni and Sutapa. In the next birth I was Upendra, born of Aditi and Kashyapa. And now for third time I am born as Krishna from you, Devaki and Vasudeva. I have appeared in this Vishnu form just to conceive you that I am, just to convince you that I am the same Supreme Personality of Godhead, again taken birth. I could have appeared just like an ordinary child, but in that way you would not have believed that Supreme Personality of God had taken birth in your womb. So that was his 400 form. My dear father and mother, you have therefore raised me many times as your child. With great affection and love, I am therefore very much pleased and obliged to you, and I assure you that this time you shall go back home, back to Godhead, on account of your perfection in your mission. I know that you are very much concerned about me and afraid of Kamsa. Therefore, I order you to take me immediately to Gokul and exchange me for the daughter who has just been born to the Yashoda. Having spoken thus to his father and mother, the Lord turned himself into ordinary child in their presence and remained silent. Being ordered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva prepared to take his son from the delivery room, and exactly at that time a daughter was born to Nanda and Yashoda. She was Yogamaya, the internal potency of the Lord. At the same time, one daughter has born to Yashoda. By the influence of this internal potency Yogamaya, all the residents of Kamsa's palace, especially the doorkeepers, were overwhelmed with the deep sleep, and all the palace door opened, although they were barred and shackled with the iron chains. So when Lord want to go, now everything became opened, and everybody, all the doorkeeper went to the sleep. The night was very dark, but as soon as Vasudeva took Krishna on his lap and went out, he could see everything just as the sunlight. So because wherever is Krishna, there is a light. There cannot be any darkness. So, and Krishna's body is effulgent. And at that same time, there was thunder in the sky and severe rainfall. While Vasudeva was carrying his son Krishna in falling rain, Lord Sesha, all the Sheshnag, appeared in the form of serpent, spread his hood over the head of Vasudeva, so that it would not be hampered by the rainfall. Vasudeva came into the bank of Yamuna and saw that the water of Yamuna was roaring with waves, and that whole spana was full of foam. But still in that furious picture, the river gave passage to Vasudeva to cross. Even river Yamuna also gave. The great Indian Ocean gave the path to the Lord Ram when he was bridging over the gulf. In this way, Vasudeva crossed the river Yamuna. On the other side, he went to the place of Nand Maharaj, situated in Gokul, where he saw that all the coward men were fast asleep. He took the opportunity to silently enter into the house of Yashoda, and without delay exchanged his son for the baby girl newly born there. And after entering the house very silently and exchanging the boy for the girl, he returned to the prison of Kamsa and silently put the girl on the lap of Devaki. So this time Vasudeva exchanges, Lord Krishna is sent to the Gokul and he brings the daughter to the Devaki. He again claimed the shackles on himself so that Kamsa could not recognize so many things has happened. Mother Yashoda understood that a child had been born to her, but because she was very tired from the labor of childbirth, she fell fast asleep. And even Mother Yashoda cannot come to know what has happened. That child was exchanged. When she awoke, she could not remember whether she had given birth to a male or female child. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport to the third chapter of Lord Krishna, the birth of Lord Krishna. So we have completed the 3 chapters. This is the chapter where Lord Krishna is taking his birth and it is explained very beautifully. Thank you for joining. We'll again read in a Hindi session the meaning of this, and also, if possible, little by little some paragraph will take out. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. To those who join late, you can subscribe to the channel. We'll put the link open there in the playlist Krishna book reading. So this we read birth of Lord Krishna today. This full chapter we have read already. Again in Hindi also I will repeat this chapter session. It's a very nice chapter. How the Lord Krishna's birth is very pure and divine. It is not like ordinary birth. It is explained very nicely, and the prayers of Devaki and Vasudeva are described here. So this very beautiful chapter. You also can read it whenever you get time. It is a very important chapter. And how Lord Krishna went to the Gokul also is explained in this chapter. So this is third chapter of the Krishna Leela book, the birth of Lord Krishna. So we must read this chapter because every year we celebrate the